Good evening. Bear with me, Chicago fans. This is Dean and John to talk about the Chicago Bears draft, how they did compared to how I predicted. And John can hold me accountable for those predictions. And then we're also going to look at the undrafted free agents. And I know that, a lot of shows are doing these already, and that's fine. I understand why that a lot of crowds would want to go to those shows. But if you want to learn the most and be right, you're at the right place today. So,
Congratulations.
so welcome.
You found us.
Yeah, we're going to see. Yeah, way to go. That's a good job. So we do appreciate you. Remember to subscribe because that really encourages us to do a better job every week.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have a lot of fun with this, and hopefully you will too. So let's go over the Chicago Bears 2026 rookie class. They had 7 draft picks. They did a little bit of trading down, as we suspected they might. I think we actually predicted they would do that, trade down, get more picks. They actually traded down and then up, and they took their 2 7th-round picks and moved up to the 6th round.
Yeah.
To draft someone that we'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
So in the first round, I predicted that the Bears were going to take an offensive tackle, Caden Proctor, Alabama, and man, he was already gone. So that didn't work out well. Instead, it may have worked out really well. So instead,
I'm sure our loyal fans remember us reacting in the live stream.
Yeah, that's true.
When he got drafted,
we did our live stream, and we got through the first round pick there.
Yeah,
it's probably good we didn't do a live stream on day 2 because we might have been like, what?
Yeah, that would have been frustrating.
Yeah, a little bit, but we'll talk about that. So the first pick that they did get was Dylan Thieneman, safety out of Oregon. He was a second-ranked safety, 6 foot, 201 pounds, blazing 4.35 speed in the 40. He had a relative athletic score. Whenever you hear these acronyms on the shows, I always hate this because I'm like, what's that mean? Our RAV score, or what does that mean? Well, it's the relative athletic score that they get from multiple things that they put these guys through in testing. Some of that's done at the combine. Some of it is done at personal pro days that they have with their colleges. And they rate them on basically, are you a really good athlete? Now, you would think that most of these guys are really good athletes, but I guess that they have different stages of being really good athletes.
Yeah. Different scores.
And so he had a 9.7 RAS score, which is really, really good. He's really, really fast, really, really smart, second-ranked safety. And experts in the NFL gave the Bears an A or an A+ for this because he was expected to go in the top 15. So, John, what are your thoughts on Dylan Thieneman?
I get it wrong too. I want to say Thieneman, but
that sounds right.
Yeah, I've heard it said many times now. Thieneman.
Thieneman. That's what I wanted to say.
One syllable. The IE is just one. So okay. I'm sure we'll get used to that over his many Super Bowls in Chicago.
Yeah. And so what do you think? What do you think of Dylan?
Yeah, I'll call him Dylan. Give him a nickname eventually.
Yeah.
I think my reaction when we were live streaming wasn't very positive. But after thinking about it, I mean, it seems like it was a steal, and obviously I read a lot of articles that convinced me that it was a steal.
Yeah, it was a better move than you thought.
I mean, I didn't think he was going to be there, so that was surprising in a good way. And then the fact that he was, I didn't expect him to be here. I didn't really research much about it.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's really, I mean, from the highlights I watched, he seemed really smart in terms of keeping his feet in, really athletic in terms of just like jumping and tracking the ball on really quick throws that, would usually fly by somebody.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was just almost instantly I don't know, some of the catches and the interceptions were like, wow, that was quick. So
he reads well. He played 2 years at Purdue, so he's that was a grad myself. I'm thinking that definitely helped him with something. I don't know. But he's got a 40-inch vertical, I think. So I mean, he can run, he can jump, he's fast, and he appears to be really smart. Like I saw some of those highlights, he was like on those guys before they could even get blockers in position on running plays. And He's a big hitter, I guess, as
Yeah,
well.
not afraid to tackle, which
Yeah, so that's
we've had
good
history
because
in
there may be a
Chicago.
lot of guys running past the defensive line. He's going to have to tackle them.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
so
We might need them.
we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So, uh, in terms of just other rankings of him, one of the comments was a plug and play starter, high production. Essentially, he can play multiple positions, and it seems like that's what Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator of the Bears, really wants. Is he wants interchangeable guys. I think that's really smart today's NFL too, because everybody gets hurt all the time, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you have to put them on, I mean, when you got that kind of speed, you can probably cover a lot of wide receivers. Slower wide receivers potentially.
Yeah.
But so yeah, plug and play. I'd say he's got a high chance of starting for the
Yeah.
team because there
Yeah.
really weren't a lot of players in that
Mhm.
position.
Yeah.
They had to let some guys go. So good. So you, if,
Yeah, I
if
don't
you're
think
gonna,
our favorite Hicks, I don't think he's going to give him much
yeah,
competition for
he's a good backup.
yeah.
So the experts gave him an A plus. What would you give him grade wise?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue.
Okay.
With how the rest of the draft turned out, I'll go out on a hot take and just say a B plus.
Okay.
But nothing
Okay.
against him personally.
Yeah.
I just think there are bigger, like the cons that for pros and cons. One was just that safety is not a premium position, whatever
Okay.
that means.
Yeah. Usually that's edge rushers,
Edge,
quarterbacks,
tackle.
or maybe wide receivers. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Edge, tackle, receiver,
Yeah.
or corner usually are the premium
Good
positions.
Point. Yeah.
So that was the only downside. But some people said he was as good as the top safety that everyone thought was one of the greatest, seemingly for a long time. So some people had him as high as the other guy that went like top 10. So yeah, hopefully that turns out to be true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm rooting for him.
So yeah, I mean, we hope he turns out to be at the A plus level, and even if he's a B plus as a rookie, a lot of it is not just 1 year. What does he do over his career? So
Yeah.
like with a lot of these guys, they're going to be able to stay healthy. That's what you never know. Nobody can predict that. Sometimes you can do it based on history. Sometimes you can't. It's not. Sometimes stuff just happens that you can't really plan for. But we hopefully he'll be there for the Bears a long time and healthy and have a good career. So in the second round, moving on, I said, hey, Akeem Messidor, the edge out of Miami. They had the 57th pick. Remember that 57 number. And boy, that's who I thought they would take. And they got right to 57, and Messidor was already gone. So once again, that would have been nice. Somebody else stole him. But they ended up drafting center, which they had a need for. They signed a free agent who's only there for a year. Their starting center retired, like we talked about previous shows. And Logan Jones, center out of Iowa, who are known for offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And the highest paid center in the NFL, who was signed as a free agent. I can't remember the guy's name now, but Lindenbaum just signed the largest contract for an offensive lineman or center at least. And he was there before Logan Jones was there. Logan Jones was actually there 1 or 2 years before he was drafted. So there's supposedly he really looked up to him, learned a lot from him. He started, I think, over 50 games in college at center, so very experienced.
Yeah.
And so the experts, he has an 8 to 9 RAS score, one of the highest RAS scores ever for center at the combine, from what I understand.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's looks good. And so most of the experts graded him right around a B plus. So in the first round draft, well, the same thing. I mean, the Bears needed a center. They needed a safety. The argument would be, like you said, the premium position argument is, well, yeah, you should have got an edge, right? You needed that too. Why didn't you get an edge?
Yeah.
But it does look like with these first 2 picks, they fulfilled 2 needs, even though we would say maybe a lower need than edge. So what are your thoughts on Logan Jones, center out of Iowa?
Yeah, I like it. We could talk about what everyone wanted them to do. I think if I guess the theme of the draft would be if there's a good offense that results from this, I will be happy. If we can stock up a really good offense, that's something I haven't witnessed very much in my life as a Chicago Bears fan. So if we can do that, I personally can last with a defense that might be overlooked in terms of what people thought they were going to take here.
Yeah.
So I I mean, offense. Multiple years I've said Ryan Poles could draft entirely offensive line, and I would never hold him. I would never be upset about it
Yeah.
because I think you just take as many shots as you can at offensive line.
Yeah.
And with injuries there, and yeah, you really want the offensive line in my football philosophy. So
Yeah.
I'm rarely going to complain about an O line pick.
Yeah.
So
And especially you need to be strong up the middle.
Mhm.
You also need to be able to snap the ball to your quarterback accurately,
Yeah.
which there were a few problems with that, even with the
Yeah.
center that retired,
Uh-huh.
who had a good season, I think, overall.
Other strengths.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm hopeful this young man out of Iowa can really fill the need there. Now, his critique was he was a bit undersized. So
Mm.
and he's 6'2", 299. So that's, I guess, small in the NFL for a center, but his strength scores were off the charts, incredibly strong from what I read. And,
Nice.
so that's incredibly strong, great RAS score. So we'll hopefully, he's also incredibly smart. So a center has to be able to recognize the defense, recognize who might be blitzing, recognize the coverages, shout that out to his offensive linemen, make sure the quarterback is on board. He takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback having to read the defense if he knows what he's doing. So supposedly this Logan Jones is incredibly smart, and he might not start right away, but he might. You never know. So
Yeah, I imagine that'll be a position battle they talk about later.
So would you agree with B plus?
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to get the center there, but we did, and I'm okay with it. I would say B plus. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay. And I just want to point out this was the only pick that I got correct. I said they were going to get him in the fourth round at 129, which would have been incredible value.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out.
Uh-huh.
But they thought that he was going to be gone.
Yeah.
So they drafted him at 57 instead of 129 because he might not have been there. And he became known as Mr. 57 because I guess Heinz Ketchup has a promotion where whoever was the 57th player drafted gets ketchup for life. So you got that going for you.
Yeah.
Not only do you get millions of dollars, but you get ketchup for life. So if you're a ketchup guy,
pretty good deal.
I like ketchup, so that would be kind of cool.
Me too. That'd be great.
So yeah, he's Mr. 57 is how he's known. And if you ever need ketchup, might text him or send him, a tweet.
I don't know
hey, how about a box of ketchup?
I don't know what the sharing rules are for.
Well, good call.
Yeah,
I don't want to be reading about that later, being arrested by the FBI or whatever.
Well, that was the main what you predicted him to go later, or when you predicted him to go later. That was one of the main criticisms I heard was that we reached on him and following players.
Yeah, boy. Speaking of that, let's talk about
good transition.
Let's talk about our 2 third-round picks. So we actually traded back. I think we had like 57 and 60. We traded back to 69 and we got an 89 pick. I believe that's the way it worked. So we have 2 picks in the third round. So at 69, we took Sam Roush, tight end out of Stanford. Must be a smart guy. Stanford's a pretty tough school to be in.
Yeah.
He is 6'6", 267. Large man. He had an 8 RAS score for a tight end. The experts graded this not very complimentary. So they gave from a C plus to a B. So it was in that range. And the main critique was they thought he could have gone later. He was one of the top ranked, if not the top ranked blocking tight end. Is known as not having very good hands. He had several drops.
Yeah.
So that, boy, we don't like that. But maybe they're never going to throw him the ball. Maybe he's just going to block. But yeah, the critique, and I agree with this, is, boy, did you have to take him at 69. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would be more positive on this guy in general than a lot of people, I think, because I picture Ben Johnson having just a really clear idea of what he wants at the tight end. So Sam Laporta obviously drafted Loveland last year. Everyone thought Tyler Warren was the better guy, and maybe he will be, but obviously Loveland right now looks like we nailed it. So
we nailed it.
Yeah. The Chicago Bears nailed it.
Yeah.
So I guess in terms of the history of drafting tight ends, Ben Johnson has a pretty good record of picking him. So if there's something about this guy, and developing a run game is really big. I think everyone talks about the different sets that Ben ran last year, and just a double tight end. I mean, it seems like it's kind of a more the better in an undervalued position. But Ben Johnson seems to get the most out of it. So I'm hoping whatever he sees in Sam is not just blocking, but that would still be good to me.
Yeah.
I think it would be worthwhile if your offensive line struggles and you need someone out there to provide extra coverage for Caleb, then
Yeah, and when you talk about offensive line struggles, I mean, one of the weaknesses we wanted them to address was the offensive line, and on left tackle specifically, because their last year's starter is out probably until later in the year, if he comes back at all next year, depending on how his rehab goes. So we're looking at, the Bears. They've got Braxton Jones, who was hurt the year before. He didn't play very much last year. He was not very good when he played because of the injury. And they've got a couple other guys that are potentials, but that's scary, right? If you don't have your left tackle protected, that's a problem. So maybe they got Roush over there to double team the edge. It's very possible.
Yeah. And they did that, I think, with Theo Benedict last year.
Yeah.
They would put him over there. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, tight end's really versatile as a position. Obviously, you can catch and you can block.
Yeah.
Those are pretty huge things for. And I think that lines up with Ben Johnson's philosophy of just confusing the defense, not knowing what each player is going to do. That's
well, he succeeded in confusing me with this draft pick. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, what would you grade it?
Yeah. What would I grade it? Well, the grade is C+ to B. I mean, part of the grades have to do with, could you have got this guy later and got somebody else? Could you have got an edge or an offensive lineman that was better at this point in time at number 69? That's the critique. So I think that's a fair critique. I think it kind of is sad that Sam Roush is put under that pressure, because reality is he didn't pick where he was drafted, right? And but if he plays great, nobody's going to end up remembering probably. If he plays bad, then Ryan Poles will get critiqued, or Ben Johnson should as well, because I have a feeling Ben Johnson rubber stamped this one. That he wanted that gentleman. Okay, so now we're moving to 89, pick number 89. This was another shocker here. This was Zavon Thomas. So wide receiver, 5'10", 190, ran a 4.28 at the combine. So you know what? He's very fast. He's very fast man.
I would say so.
And lined up in a lot of different places at LSU. Was really a weapon there, right? So here is a guy that a lot of people thought would go 4th or 5th round, or might not even get drafted. So he got drafted at 89 by, for a fact, at least what we heard later was Ben Johnson saw this guy on tape, and everybody in the room could tell by Ben's body language, this guy is awesome. I can do great things with this guy. And Ben was like really excited about him. So
I hope they can read body language well.
Yeah. So right. I hope they were depending on.
I think he confirmed it probably.
If nothing else, he can take what they say, take the top off the defense. He can run past guys to pull guys away, to open up the middle of the field, to open up other routes because of his speed. But the overall expert grade was C- to C. So what are your thoughts on Zavian Thomas?
I know picking a kick returner and a punt returner, in terms of that's a lot of the value I heard talked about with him.
And a wide receiver.
I mean, he's a wide receiver that people are like, well, maybe they want him to kick and punt return. Obviously, if Chicago has a history of good players, kick returning's one of them with Hester. And not that Zavian Thomas has the pressure to be Hester.
So you're saying he's going to be Hester.
He's going to be Devin Hester. Calling in now. No, I mean, I think the use of him at wide receiver, we did but it was one of our possible needs. Clearly, Ben thought that we needed it. So
he's smart.
He's a smart guy. I saw one clip of this guy just absolutely leaving the best corner in the draft behind on a route. So that was one clip that was, I think Caleb Downs is the corner. He was the best corner, I think.
Yeah.
So there's a clip of him beating Caleb Downs pretty severely. So he did it once.
That's the only clip Ben Johnson saw.
Yeah. I imagine Ben watched a lot more tape. So
yeah, probably.
a quick guy who can be used by Ben Johnson sounds exciting. I would have. Everybody would have gone defense here. We were all shocked by it.
Yeah.
I would say unpleasantly shocked by it.
Yeah.
At the time, nothing against this guy. Yeah. Obviously, wanted him to succeed, and speed at wide receiver. I don't know. I mean, I want a good offense. So I'm biased towards a good offense, and I really hope this guy is what we're looking for.
Yeah, and out of the first 4 picks, the first one was defense, safety, and then we went center, tight end, wide receiver. So it's like Ben Johnson said, you know what? We're going to have the best offense in the NFL, right? So if you do have the best offense in the NFL, your defense isn't on the field as much, potentially. So or it could be incredibly frustrating when guys are, I can think of a few times are sitting back there and nobody can get to them.
Yeah.
So that's not a good feeling. Well, okay. So let's move along here to pick number 4. Now this is interesting. If you took these players, I was going to mention this later, but I'll mention it now.
Okay.
Once we get done to the end of these draft picks, if you took them and you didn't look at where they were drafted, I think you would have a little bit different view of what they picked. And this gentleman, Malik Muhammad, he was cornerback from Texas. He was expected to go much higher. He was viewed as one of the top corners, in the top 5 corners in the draft. He went at number 124. He is 6 foot, 182, out of Texas, as I said. He's got a RAS score in the high 8 range. He was viewed as a B to an A value across multiple draft analysts. That don't know as much as you and I do, obviously. And anyway, so what are your thoughts on Malik Muhammad, cornerback from Texas?
Yeah, it was another need. I saw the funny video of him not reacting to getting drafted. That was pretty funny. And I think people interpreted it incorrectly. He's seemingly just.
He was probably in shock.
Yeah, I think he was shocked, and I think I read that he was projected to go higher. So
much higher.
He was probably like, man, this took a while.
Yeah, some people predicted he'd be, end of the 2nd round, beginning of the 3rd even. So so it looks like the Bears, while we didn't necessarily like the order they picked the last 2 guys, it looks like this one they really might have gotten a steal. So
it says here it's possibly one of the best values in the class for the Bears. I mean, Thieneman's probably the top value for a lot of people, but this guy's up there, and our secondary, I'll take as many secondary guys as we can get to.
Seems like they always get hurt.
We had 2 out last year with Frazier and Terrell Smith. So
and Jalen Johnson got hurt last year, was out for a lot of games, and
Kyler Gordon.
Kyler Gordon, exactly. You can go on and on. Seems like it never ended.
Okay. So I'm happy. I didn't have a specific letter grade, but
we'll give it an A then.
Yeah, sounds great to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Bears show.
So
so then
a B for Ben Johnson.
Okay, I'll give him a B for Ben. Pick number in the 5th round, and this is our 6th pick. We had 2 picks in the 3rd. Keyshawn Elliott, linebacker out of Arizona State, 6'2", 235, had an 8 RAS score. And the experts graded this as a B, and there were several of them that felt like in the 5th round this was a really, really good value. So from what I read about him, and I watched a couple clips of him. Good hitter, good anticipation on the run game, especially strong in the run game, and supposedly can't cover anybody in pass defense. That's what I read.
So he's got a role set out for him.
Yes. So may not be in there on 3rd and long. Potentially. So so he was, I don't know. Do you have any other comments on Keyshawn Elliott?
I mean, it seemed like Arizona State had a good team from what I read and from the other players that were on there. I feel like a lot of times when teams have really good defenses, players get overlooked who can actually develop into really good NFL players because they were behind somebody. And Arizona State had a lot of defensive players drafted. I could be totally wrong on that. I think from what I remember.
I believe
so I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do, but
they're not going to fact check.
Yeah, that's okay.
We only have our friends and family watching anyway.
True. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care if they do fact check.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. So yeah, I mean linebacker. We got rid of Edmonds, so
Yeah, good.
Sounds good to me.
Good point. Yeah, and we brought back linebacker from 2 years ago that went to the Cowboys. Real popular guy. Well, it's your job to help remember this stuff for me. The linebacker.
When did we bring him back?
We just signed him at the end of the year.
Jack Sanborn.
Jack Sanborn.
Yeah. Okay.
So it sounds like this is a Jack Sanborn clone to me.
Oh, okay.
Younger, obviously.
Yeah.
He just got drafted, but Jack Sanborn's known for anticipation hitting. Not necessarily you want him out there on third down and long, right?
Yeah. Not the
so
quickest.
it sounds like this is a similar type player. So, Jack Sanborn has a lot of value, even on special teams, right? I mean, he doesn't have to pass cover anybody on special teams. If he can run down and have an elite special teams unit, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
If he can help us there. Okay. So now our last pick, draft pick at number 213, we traded 2 7th-round picks to move up to 213. So they wanted this guy, Jordan Vandenberg, a defensive lineman. So finally we got somebody on the defensive line out of Georgia Tech. He's 6'3", 310. He is, let's see. Yeah, so this is what I was looking for. He had the perfect 10 RAS score for a defensive lineman. So incredible athlete. The experts across the board gave us an A for that. So
I read some good things.
Make the team?
Yeah, I hope so. Seemed like that was real. I mean, we traded 2 7th rounds to go get him. Players have been good on day 3 and come out to be really good players. So hopefully, I mean, I go back to coaching. It's kind of my philosophy of drafting in general. Feel like you can coach a player pretty well. So yeah, Brian Poles seems to like athleticism, obviously. And I hope that we have the coaching staff to get the most out of it. We needed a defensive tackle. Think we needed possibly one earlier, but we didn't get one for whatever reason. And now we're hoping this guy can.
Hoping he steps in.
Help us out.
Yeah, and they've signed a couple free agents. It could be they're going to wait and see who's cut from other teams as well. I mean, there's always opportunities to add other players. You get your best value if you can hit in the draft, though, because their contracts are typically much less, and you have those players for a few years guaranteed, 5 years guaranteed. Well, I think actually you don't get them if they're from the 3rd round on. I think you only get them for 4 years or something. The lower rounds, you don't have them locked in quite as long as you do a 1st or 2nd round draft pick.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I forget exactly what the rules are, but I was reading that. Yeah, somebody was like, "Oh, he was drafted in the 3rd round, so he's only guaranteed through 4 years instead of 5." But anyway, the best way to hit is in the draft.
Yeah.
So once the draft was over, just I wanted to look through here real quick. Anything that we might have missed? Logan Jones from Iowa was actually the top center in the class. I don't know if we mentioned that. He was the highest rated center. And Malik Muhammad, incredible coverage skills, man to man, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
In the NFL, even though the highlight that they showed of him was nothing but pass interference by him, so that was a little bit concerning. And then
oh man,
the last player, Vandenberg, that we mentioned, Jordan Vandenberg, the comments on him where he was high upside developmental defensive lineman. So this is one of the things that Ben Johnson has said after the draft is like, we got to coach better. So he put a lot of responsibility in the coaching staff. So I really appreciated that. Overall, the analysts said this was a B, middle of the pack class. That's really not bad, in my opinion, if you think about it, because they were drafting near the 25th pick in each round, right?
Yeah.
So if you get to the middle of the draft and you were drafting later, to me that's kind of good.
That's true.
Yeah. So anyway,
I think the Thieneman pick really helped him. People didn't think he was going to be there, and but later rounds it gets a little messier, and it did.
Yeah.
But that's a good score. So
Yeah, in terms of just that, notice how I kind of didn't stay with my draft picks. So in the second round, I had predicted the second safety or third, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. He got drafted. We could have actually gotten him with our uh, pick because
yeah,
he was still available.
I'll give you a leniency for that one because
Yeah.
he was. I mean, we didn't need him at that point.
We
So,
didn't.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of dominoes.
Yeah, and then I picked Caleb Banks in the third round. He actually went pretty early, which was kind of a shocker because he had some major injuries. I forget if the Cowboys got him, or I'm trying to remember which team got him, but oh no, Vikings. Vikings drafted him.
Yeah, Vikings drafted him really early.
Yeah, and everybody was like, "Wow,
first round.
That's either a big time reach or
yeah,
they're going to end up looking brilliant."
Yeah.
So we'll see on that one. Logan Jones, as I said, that's who I predicted in the fourth round, and he went in the second. I predicted some linebacker out of TCU. I don't know where he went, and then I predicted a corner out of Indiana, but we ended up drafting a corner out of Texas. So that was the draft in a nutshell. So now that we finished talking about the draftees, which we gave I don't know, what would you say overall grade for all of them?
Man, I'd probably a B plus.
B. Okay.
Maybe.
B plus. Okay.
Yeah, in my mind. Yeah. B plus.
Yeah. And as we mentioned earlier, according to the relative athletic score, they were the most athletic team drafted. Which, I mean, they obviously have a type, right? That they're looking for. They want you to be really athletic.
One thing if we were a track and field team, we'd be
set. We would be set. Yeah, shot put. Yeah. One of the things I forgot to mention is that Logan Jones, the center. I guess I'm really hung up on Mr. 57. But he's a good story. At Iowa, they run that wide zone blocking scheme, right? Where they block areas. Basically, they pull a lot. They need guys that can move on the offensive line, and that's what he's excellent at. I guess he's incredibly athletic for a center too. So frankly, all I care about is he can block guys up the middle.
Yeah,
they don't get to the quarterback in a hurry.
Yeah,
but it's encouraging.
But Caleb rolls out.
So. He does. Yeah, absolutely true.
It could really come into play.
So part of the whole process is not just who's drafted, but there are many, many, many players who are undrafted, quote, free agents. From what I understand, the Bears spent, or one of the top spenders on undrafted free agents. So if you get drafted, John, I don't think you did, right?
Yeah, no,
you're officially an undrafted free agent. I mean, they could call you and say, "Hey, we'll give you $1 million if you'll come try out," right? And you would say,
I would go out. I'd be out there.
You'd be out there at least to get a paycheck.
Yep. Yeah. Sounds like I just want to meet some people.
Yeah. And a lot of this is they need bodies in camp, right? But there's also, hey, do these guys have potential? If they don't make the team, can we hide them on the quote practice squad?
Yeah.
So every team has a practice squad of, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 players. I forget. They've raised the number with the new bargaining agreements and everything. I think it's at least 12 players. And these are guys that, if somebody signs a guy off your practice squad, they have to keep him on the roster for the rest of the year. So that's to prevent people from just stealing guys off your practice squad that you help develop.
Yeah.
So these guys that we're mentioning here, and I think there's 15 of them, they are undrafted free agents that the Bears have signed. And so we're going to go through those quickly because there's a lot of them. Yeah. And then there's some that were identified as potential starters, might make the team type guys. So 3 of those were identified in that way. So we'll go with them first. So the first one was Caden Barnett. He's an offensive lineman out of Wyoming, 6'5", 320, another large man. All the analysts say he's got a real strong chance to make the roster, that Caden Barnett was expected to be drafted in the 5th round. Some had predicted him to go. And so this offensive lineman out of Wyoming, he's played multiple spots. He has an awesome nickname, Vanilla Gorilla.
Yeah.
And if you look online, I don't know if we'll get a picture of him based on what was online, but he's a pretty scary man.
Yeah.
Really. A lot of these guys are scary, but he was a pretty scary looking guy.
Yeah.
So he is one guy there, Caden Barnett. They say he's got a chance to make it. He's an O lineman. So maybe there's some possibilities there. The other one, and once again, O-lineman, Jaron Kump, O-line out of Utah. A lot of guys out of Utah were drafted, it seemed like this year, O-line guys.
Interesting.
He's 6'5", 313, another 6'5" guy. So we're drafting some tall guys that are big.
Yeah.
And his notes or grade was he's known as a versatile offensive lineman as well.
Yeah.
They don't say he has a strong chance to make the roster, but at least to make the practice squad, possibly make the roster.
Yeah. I have here he played, this sounds like a lot, I don't know, 2,842 career blocking snaps, mostly at center, but also took snaps at all four offensive line spots.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring that up because he did play center in college along with other positions. So who knows, right? I mean, if he's really good, they signed the one guy as a free agent, but I don't think they committed that much money to him. You never know. Or they may just stash him on the practice squad. So
I mean, Theo Benedict was undrafted free agent, and he played meaningful minutes last year. So
yeah. Next, once again, offensive tackle out of Auburn. Well, at first I wanted to do with the guys that they were viewed as having the best chance to make the team. I'm sorry, Jaden Loving, who's a D lineman. Okay, so we got another D lineman. That's two now. A D lineman out of Wake Forest, 6'2", 317. He has a 9.93 RAS score and is viewed as an elite athlete. So it's a bit, they also predicted he would get drafted. He did not. So that seems like a potential, or at least the analyst said, hey, Loving, the D lineman, Kump, the center O lineman, and then Barnett, the O lineman out of Wyoming. Those three guys had a chance, they believe, to make the roster. So for whatever that's worth, I mean, it seems like Ben Johnson's really big on, hey, you're out here with a chance to make the team.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it definitely doesn't give any status to people. He'll, if you're good, he'll put you out there.
And he'll give these guys a chance. So the other guys they drafted, we'll go through them quickly. Mason Murphy, offensive tackle out of Auburn. He was viewed as just a developmental guy. Omari Kelly's a wide receiver out of Michigan State. So played in the Big Ten, depth wide receiver. A really cool name, Squirrel White.
Yeah, that was the most interesting name.
Yeah, very interesting name. Wide receiver out of Florida. Speed slot, so it sounds like he can run. Squirrels are fast.
He's got a 4.28 in the 40s. So
so that's fast,
just like Thomas.
I'm hoping he can catch. That's another thing. It's nice if he can catch.
Also, it says here he's only got 5 catches for 52 yards at his time at Florida State. So he was more of a kick return guy.
Guy. Okay. So. Well, still, once again, that's their type, speed, right?
Yeah.
This one, I got to admit, a little surprised. Hayden Large. No, we could do a lot with that name. He's a tight end out of Iowa. So another tight end.
Yeah. I see that he could also play fullback.
So, really? Okay.
It has tight end / fullback here. So.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Now, this is interesting. To me, this next gentleman, Bo Gardner, who's a long snapper out of Georgia, specialist. I think they signed like a free agent long snapper, but if this guy can do it, he played at Georgia. He's a long snapper.
Yeah.
Seems like you'd want to get a rookie if the guy can do the job, right? So anyway, I would say Bo Gardner might have a chance of making the team. We'll see what that production holds. We already talked about Loving. Skylar Thomas, a safety out of Oregon State. This was viewed as really just a depth defensive back signing. I don't know if you know anything about Skylar Thomas. He got a cool name.
Yeah.
But other than that, safety. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, if he's really good, does he beat out Hicks or somebody? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, a lot of it can be special teams too.
Yep. Here's this signing, John Coleman Bennett, a running back out of Kennesaw State. This is viewed as running back depth. I'm really surprised they only drafted one running back. I mean, we had 3 running backs last year. Roshan Johnson was hurt most of the time. I guess we pulled in some free agents, right? But I'm kind of surprised. I don't know what your thoughts are in the running back room.
I mean, I'm just banking on Monangai. So Swift, I don't know. Swift is hit or miss for me. Uh, I mean, I really have a lot of confidence in Monangai. I kind of view running backs as pretty replaceable unless you're like the top two guys. Uh, I just think offensive line is the most important thing in football. So, uh, yeah, it might be a downer, but I don't really care about running backs. So hopefully,
How you really feel,
hopefully,
though?
yeah, hopefully it works. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
yeah. I mean, I don't
I
know.
mean, it seems
My
like,
guy's seventh rounder look great.
yeah, seems like you can get a lot of good running backs. Does seem that way. Another confusing draft pick to me is Miller Moss, quarterback out of Louisville.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I don't. I mean, they've got good quarterback depth right now. A little surprised at that, but maybe developmental guy if somebody gets hurt.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the view. I guess that's just kind of looking ahead. So
yeah, it's probably
God
just
forbid anyone gets hurt. Hope nobody gets hurt, especially
yeah,
your starter Caleb. But
yeah. I mean, Case Keenum's really old, so
yeah, he is. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if Case Keenum's having to play, I guess you'd probably rather see Miller Moss in there unless you're like in the
yeah,
trying to make the playoffs or something. But
yeah.
um, then the next pick, defense. I think they were three defensive players out of all these 15. Casey Izonumi, Izomumi.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got that right.
Mm-hmm.
Cornerback out of Tulane, developmental pick.
Yeah.
Guessing he's probably pretty fast. And then finally, and it seems like they do this every year, they drafted a kicker, Gabriel Placiena, kicker out of San Diego State. From what I read about him, he sounded like he was a clone of our current kicker. It says he doesn't have much distance, but he's incredibly accurate.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's exactly where we're at with our kicker now.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know if that's really much of a threat to our current kicker, but anyway, they've signed one to see, what they can do. So I guess that was, uh, I think 13 signees. I don't know if there's been anyone since then. I haven't seen them. So just some kind of final takeaways, at least for the undrafted free agent strategy. They really focused on the O line, D line. All right, they had a lot of O linemen. They only had one defensive lineman, but a lot of line, the tight end. Um, they did look at, I think, lawn snapper. Like I said earlier, I think that's probably that guy's got a chance to make the team. And then the RAS scores, Loving was a guy that they say is an elite athlete on the D line. So I'm thinking those D line guys, if Loving can show anything, they may want to bring him in, right?
Yeah.
So the free agents they had, and they've got guys that are hurt. So maybe early in the year until you get the guys that are hurt back on the D line, maybe that's where these guys can try to show up. Have a time they can show that they've got something, and then when they bring the other guys back, um, they can stash them on the practice squad. So there's potentially 2 to 3, maybe 4 guys that are free agents that could potentially make the team. And another thing is you do have injuries in training camp, right? So let's say you lose somebody else on the offensive line. Well, you drafted or got some undrafted guys too. So they're really trying to. That's one of the things I heard Ben Johnson say over and over is they want competition at every position. So I think they brought these guys in. I do wish, as far as their draftees, they would have gone defense maybe a little bit more than another tight end, to be honest with you. And even that wide receiver seemed like a bit of a reach to me. But I would agree. I think overall, adding the undrafted free agents, the free agents together, they probably are in that solid B range. So we'll see. We'll see how they improve this year. So I don't know.
I think
Any
it just
final.
comes down to the defensive line. If they produce, if the defensive line produces, then this is great.
Yeah.
If they don't, then, well, you care more than I do. But
Yeah.
if they don't, we'll watch a good offense. I'll be happy. But
Well, see, I don't have that many more years really around, John. So I'd like to see us win the Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Yeah. So
Chiefs did it.
yeah, that's
Good
true.
offense.
That's true. Yeah. I think another thing, I just heard it was leaked today that our first game, guess where our first game is? Maybe you heard this.
Is it the Seattle game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it was leaked by somebody that we're going to be playing on the road at Seattle's home opener when
Wow.
they get their Super Bowl rings.
Huh. Hope it's
Oh,
a false source. Hopefully
yeah.
hopefully they're wrong.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those games where nobody really expects you to win. But
Yeah.
that's happened a lot on ring ceremony day. Teams
Yeah, true.
aren't really ready to play. So,
Yeah.
but
They
otherwise,
lost their running back, so
they lost a running back. But we're gonna see how our defensive line is,
Yeah.
and we're gonna see. In fact, they took Notre Dame's running back. You and I had talked about him.
Oh yeah.
The second running back. I forget the gentleman's name now,
Yeah.
but they took him to replace the running back they lost. So
Yeah.
they got a good running back replacement. So then it's just, can we handle their D line's pass rush, which was just crazy
Really good
last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the noise there in that stadium as well.
That'll be yeah. I hope that's a wrong leak. That'll be a tough one.
The way the
That'll be a tough
NFL
one.
is, I have a feeling that it's
Yeah,
probably going
probably
to
true.
be accurate, but
Huh?
we can hope for the best. At some point, we'll do a show where we walk through the games once we get the schedule released.
Yeah.
And we'll pick wins and losses.
Mhm.
We'll get it 100% right.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
everybody will want to watch us because we've got the inside info.
Yeah. Sounds great.
So
yeah, that'll be a hard start. We'll see.
So training camp, they got a week, and then the draftees come in for training camp and stuff. So
yeah. I know it's kind of a downtime of the year, but it's exciting to see follow along storylines and stuff like that. So yeah,
we'll be hearing about Squirrel White and
Squirrel White,
Vanilla Gorilla,
yeah,
and all these guys, and we'll be hearing about how awesome they are. And
yeah, it's always
it'll be exciting,
optimistic time of year.
Yeah, very much so. So,
yeah.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us, and bear with me, Chicago. We really appreciate you guys' support. Invite you to subscribe, copy, share it with your friends and family and enemies if you didn't like it. We really appreciate your support and spending some time with us. So,
yeah,
go Bears.
Go Bears. All right.